the people watching you now have been bombarded with political advertising without knowing that they are in fact paying for it.
Well, look, that is the case. Of course, you know, I talk to a lot of people and they say, oh, I'd have thought that government should be paying to run the election. Well, of course they should, but the election campaign and the election itself are two very, very different things. You know, the election itself is all about making sure the ballot boxes are there, that the polling booths are open, that they're run according to the rules that govern elections. But the election campaign, as we know, is a contest, often bitterly fought, between the parties and the candidates, and the taxpayer should have zero role in picking up the tab.
But you take someone like Clive Palmer, who's worth a fortune, but he will get, if he gets 4% of the vote, $10,656 of taxpayers' money and $2.9 for every vote his party receives.
Well, it's obscene.
And he's got a wealth of about $20 billion.
That's exactly right, about 20 billion. And look, you know, all I would say in relation to Clive, and look, I don't actually blame Clive.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
No.
As we know, people will queue to get benefits if benefits are made available. And Clive just happens to be one of them. He happens to be the wealthiest. But it just underlines what a rort it is. And I would hope Clive would have the decency to donate what he gets from public funding to a charity.
You've called this an appalling, unprincipled and largely unscrutinised free-for-all, and the only loser is the taxpayer. So all these snouts are allowed in the political trough because the system, as you said, benefits every political player, every party and every candidate. So politicians shut up about it.
And there is something that can only be described as a conspiracy of silence. You referred to the fact that I was Federal Treasurer of the Liberal Party, which I was. Alan, I have been privy to the discussions about what is said, certainly between the major parties, to make sure that no one lays a hand on the goose that lays the golden egg.
The goose keeps laying.
I mean, as geese go, this is the biggest, fattest goose in town.
Yes, and the goose has been laying for 40 years.
It's been laying for 40 years, and of course the other line that you can't avoid is it's the gift that keeps giving.
What should be done?
The gift gets bigger every time.
Well,
look, I'm saying that the broom should be put through the whole regime of political fundraising and election funding. Look, there is a serious credibility and transparency issue in relation to the way money is raised. I'm saying that political parties, it should be mandated. And look, I'm the last one to advocate, you know, let's have another bit of legislation here or there to fix problems. But I think this is sufficiently serious. It casts a very dark shadow over the integrity of the democratic system. And that, of course, represents an enormous cost. So yeah. I'm saying that political parties, a bit like major charities and not so major charities, should be relying on what is called in the trade the low-value, high-volume means of fundraising. Everyone's familiar with fundraising programs, yep. You know, to sponsor a child for $30 a month. Now, the truth is, hundreds of millions of dollars are raised in that way. And of course, what that does is it puts the organisations that are fundraising like that in touch with a very large number of people who are contributing small amounts of money. For political parties, it's the other way around. They're in touch with a small number of people donating large amounts of money, and it's wrong.